Yeah, to continuation of this Maven tool, Maven dependency or Maven build management tool. So now we are going to discuss what is profiling and what is the build profiling, how to use and why it is required to use this one, right? So basically, as you know, it is useful for build life cycle, right? So we need to run this build management tool with the different platforms and different JVMs and different databases sometimes, right? And they're kind of local files in the local reference file. So to do that, so they created a kind of Maven setting file. I told you, right. So it is in the root of your directory, user directory, and M2, and specify that setting.xml. Okay. So a file is in this file is be uh, called in the POM.xml as a profile. Okay. So it will be attached to this one. Okay. And what type of project level build profiles will be there? I'll build profile will be there. So basically, the project level profile will be defined in the form.xml and user level profile, right? So it is in the user location and .m2 setting profile, and it is a global. So both will be same. Sometimes if you want to change the global to this one, so there is a configuration, right? So conf folder will be created. So within that, it is not in the M2 directory. Within the M2, so there will be one more specific configuration file. Under that, there is a HTML file. Okay. So based on that settings, like which can be like active profile, which profile you want to utilize, so that will be taken care by in the build profile section. So let me show you that as well. So yeah. So then after we have like a build life cycle. So what we used to do, right? We have kind of a basic build life cycle. So validate one of the life cycle. It is a very first life cycle. Okay. So what it does is validate your project is correct and all necessary information is available. So which means whether it is following the Maven structure and the coding standard, if at all anything missing, the validation of if you apply this validator life cycle, so whether it could be a give the result, build failure, the reason would be the missing of something, or build pass. So there are two results will be outcome for this about life cycle: build pass, build fail. Okay, for build pass in the sense all necessary activities has been validated and the Maven structure and compilation is properly done, something like. Okay. And the next life cycle is the compile life cycle, so which compile our source Java code and makes table of our like binaries. So Java compilation has been done, all our whatever the test cases or test code has been written. So by this life cycle, okay, compile life cycle will compile that source code. Okay. So then next life cycle is the test life cycle. So this test life cycle, after compiling code compile, right? So it will take the code compilation and it will run that testing framework. So testing framework in the sense, if you define a 10 test cases, and those test cases will be required to execute. Okay. So this will require to execute, and there are kind of packages. Okay. So packages, integrations, and verify. Okay. So other are their own purpose. So I will. So for we required a test, and sometime we required a verify as well, and integrations. So packaging in the sense packaging. Next one is packing, right? So after code compile, okay, and it will generate a jar file. So basically, the code will be compiled and it will give that executable jar file. And this integration test, right? So based on the integration test, you want to deploy in the jar file to some other server, some other location, Docker location, suppose. Okay, so that kind of integration test is required to their execution. Okay, verify in the sense all our packaging checks and verify the quality criteria. Okay, and start installing, right? Installing a local repository after develop the jar file, right? it will install in the supply in the server level deployment. So you want to run this entire project as a build as a jar file. You want to build and deploy to your kind of cloud cloud location or VMs. So that has been done. Okay, and the cleaning. So cleaning in the sense a clean life cycle which will clean and delete all previous artifacts. Just whatever the compilation has been done, those will be cleaned up. Okay, uh, and these are the things. And one more thing I want to let you know here. Um, this life cycle how it works. Okay, suppose the order is like this, right? So first it will start validate and compile and test. Okay, and packaging and install. Suppose if I start the test. So what is that? If I start executing test instance, automatically the first one validate and compile has been automatically taken care by the internally. So if you want to specifically compile, you can just use a compile. So if you want to use a test lifecycle, internally it will validate and compile and the test code will be executed. Something like. And also if you want to deploy your code in some other server. So that means it will automatically perform the previous all the steps which are having the sequence, right? All them are executed and finally it will be execute the deploy. So that is the execution flow. Okay, yeah. So let me move on to the next one. Yeah. So every life cycle there is some kind of a specific plugin. Okay, if you want to explore more, you can do it here. So for resource library, compile library, these are the modules. It is not required for like what is the outcome. So for this life cycle, right? So if I run this project resources, you will get the resource. Okay, compilation, core compile. So test will run. Packaging, jar file will be downloaded, something like. So these are the kind of plugins, specific plugins you want to install. You can do it. Okay, yes. And these are the same thing which is there. Okay, yeah. So now there is one more important topic is for our testing. Okay, so for our testing is Surefire plugin. So this plugin, what it does is, so it will after integration this plugin will run our unit test cases. Whatever the test is derived, so those test cases will be considered. So what we need to do is we need to add this kind of a dependency plugin. Okay, it is a plugin. So we need to add here is the plugin section. So even though internally it is a dependency kind of thing, but the tag will start from the plugins and end with the plugins. And also same thing like group ID, artifact ID versions will be there. And there are some configurations when it should be executed, something like. And also here you can specify your test which test class should be executed. And also you can see that there are some asterisks, right? So the root directory. So this file, the root directory star and test.java. So within the folder structure in the root directory, under the root directory, under the test, something like, so the particular test class will be executed. And also you can see this is a Maven command we used to use in our general normal testing, MV and tests. So all the test cases will be executed. Okay, so the MVN test will be execution of all our integration test cases. So let me show you that. And these are the daily used command. So these command are daily used command when I want to like MVN and install instance, local directory installation. So you want to skip your test, Maven test to something like, okay, Maven cleanup, Maven compile, okay, Maven test. So Maven test and Maven source file test. There are two ways you can run it. And this is the way, okay, this is the way we can run in Jenkins. Okay, so if you create a Jenkins job, okay, so in that like runner file, so we have to specify that our Maven location, and this is the command we need to provide it. Okay, so that's what about that in detail of this one. So let me write yeah, we will integrate yeah. So whenever we execute test ng, right, that time I will explain this integration. Hmm. So tomorrow I think we'll discuss that a kind of test ng framework, like unit testing framework. There I will add this plugin, sourceful plugin, and I will explain in detail in there. Okay. So this is about a kind of Maven related stuff. You can practice all of them. Okay. So that's all from my end. So I will stop here and let me know if you like if you have any queries